Chris Allen MMA show. Today, I'm absolutely honoured to be joined by one of the UK's veterans of mixed martial arts. He's been going since the early 2000s. He's been everywhere around the world, from even living in the Ultimate Fighter house at one point. Now he's done over 40 of his own promotions himself. It's Ross, the Gladiator Pointon. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey up, Chris. Good to talk to you, my friend. How are you?
Good. Yeah, really good, mate. I said I've wanted you to come on for a while now. Obviously, I think it's about 6 months ago. I think I bumped into you at one of the local MMA shows, and yeah, man. First of all, I was being a bit of a fanboy. I was like, "Is that Ross Pointon? I'm sure that's Ross Pointon over there." You know?
Yeah, I was working, obviously grafting, like I do every time. You know, obviously I work behind the scenes now. I'm not fighting like I used to. Yeah, so obviously doing the cage, I seen you at one of the events, and yeah, you kind of like got me attention. Yeah, really cool. I'm glad I did, because we became friends, man. So you know.
No, appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so everyone knows he didn't have his shirt off, so I didn't know it was Pointon by the Pointon tattoo across his back, by the way. Okay, I did clock him.
Yeah, like I say, I'm just all roughed up, and normally, you know, rough clothes and shabby, you know, shorts, and just, yeah, not the fire image that you probably expect the Gladiator to be, you know, just grafting all mucked up and dirty, like, you know.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that still wouldn't step inside that cage, Ross. Don't get me wrong. Like I remember you. I've actually got it on DVD in the front room of the Ultimate Fighter series. You're
Brilliant.
in. You know what I mean? With Bisping and all them lot. You know what I mean? So because that's the one we've obviously watched the most in the UK. Because it's obviously when Bisping won, obviously the first UK person who won the Ultimate Fighter. So you know what I mean? It's weird looking at it and chatting to you after watching you on a TV screen. Do you know what I mean?
And what an experience that was, all of that, you know.
I bet it was
priceless.
Mate. I was going to ask you about that, but before I go into that one, just quickly give everyone a bit of a background. Like, before you did any of the MMA stuff, like, were you doing anything else, like martial arts wise? Were you boxing, doing jiu-jitsu? What were you doing, which made you want to get to MMA?
Yeah, this is the thing, you know. The more as I get older, and I'm still, you know, active in practicing mixed martial arts, and every day of my life, you know, 6 to 7 days a week, twice a day. I still haven't stopped. I slowed down for a little while, gave my body a bit of a rest in that. But it's funny, you know, since the stars and all the moons have aligned up recently, you know, and with what's going on around the world, and, you know, with all this COVID-19 and everything, you know, I feel like the energies from the universe is making me stronger. You know, I'm training more. You know, my mind's becoming stronger, as I feel as if some people are becoming weaker. It's a funny times at the moment, you know. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world, a lot of conspiracies, a lot of people talking about different things. But anyway, that's going off track, you know. But I do feel like the universe is sending me messages deep inside of me and inside of my mind and my heart and my soul. Messages that maybe have been lost, you know what I mean, of who I am as a being, who as I am as a person as well. You know, it's quite yeah, I believe it's a good time for a lot of people, and it's a bad time for some people as well, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a bad time. We're all stuck in lockdown. There's no events going on. Some people aren't working, and yeah, mate, it's tough. And I can see you're keeping busy. You're doing a lot of live videos at the moment from the gym.
Yeah, that's it, man. You got to try and keep people focused on you, and give them the energy as well, and try and just, you know, keep them focused and motivated as well. The people that want to be, you know, obviously. It's a funny time, like I say, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto that, mate.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. Well, no, what I started with was I'd start like before you did anything like martial arts or MMA or anything. Like what got you?
Yeah, martial arts. Yeah, you know. Obviously, I've been doing martial arts. Yeah, that's what's made me think about, you know, where I come from and what I've been doing, and, you know, I started way back when I was like the age of 5, you know, and I started getting, primary school, 6, you know, I started getting bullied, you know, and the first martial arts I started off was karate, and from karate I moved over to boxing, and then from the boxing I did a bit of kung fu, and then went back to the boxing, and then went over to a bit of Muay Thai, and then from the Muay Thai I went to American kickboxing, did American kickboxing, and then carried on to Chinese kickboxing.
Yep.
Got a black belt in them, and then I just went over to the mixed martial arts. First it was the grappling and the ground fighting. You know, obviously nobody was doing it in my area. There was nowhere I could do it. You know, obviously there was the martial arts magazines. You know, there was the people that were doing bits and bobs in the martial arts magazines, Martial Arts Illustrated, and, you know, SF UK, and, you know, people like Carl Tanswell, you know, God rest his soul, you know, you know, and then you know, that's it. I went over to the jiu-jitsu, the grappling side, and then from there, obviously, you know, I was British Chinese kickboxing champion. I'd won that twice. And, you know, obviously I came here, I started grappling BJJ. I won European BJJ champion, Gracie European Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Invitational at the NEC. Nice. That was in 2004. Then I went on to win Kappa Padetti, British champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu British champion down at Brixton.
Nice.
And then the Ultimate Fighter came along for me. You know, and I beat some good guys at them competitions as well. You know, some good guys, man. You know, and obviously I'd beat some good guys on the stand-up circuit back then as well, the striking circuit. You know, and the mixed martial arts circuit had only just really come about. You know, it still wasn't really happening in the UK and that. You know, and it wasn't really an amateur scene as well. And obviously, we're already doing all the kickboxing and the boxing and everything else as a younger child, being that kind of way. And there was a period where I kind of like came away from martial arts and schooling, and I was quite a rebel between the age of like 13. Yeah, a little bit earlier than that, probably like 11. And then I started getting really bad when I was like 13. It was still boxing and stuff, but like in with the wrong crowds, and, you know, didn't go to school. And then I kind of like, I had a rough patch until I was about 19. And then I kind of like sorted myself out to about 15, 16. But then I didn't really sort myself out until I was about 19, 20. And then I cleaned myself up in a good way, you know. Got structure in my life and stuff, you know. And just became stable, got a lot more stable in my life, and had a lot more structure. And obviously I had to do it myself, you know what I mean? And people who know me from back in the day will know what I'm on about. And, you know, there's a story there.
What made you go back when you were 19? What made you go back to it?
I suppose it was the way of martial arts, what maybe I'd learned as a child. That's what I needed. Maybe that's what I was missing all along, you know. And it's something that's, you know, given me guidance, given me strength. Maybe the person I am today, you know, without that, I honestly probably would be dead and in a box, you know. So martial arts is still doing that for me today. Without that, this day, it's keeping me sane.
Yeah.
This moments in time, it's keeping me sane. It's keeping me who I am. And this is what I'm saying. I'm going back to find who the Gladiator really is. And he's been away for a while, you know. And I was a world champion. Not many people know that.
No.
You know, as a UK mixed martial arts world champion. You know, Circus Tam in 2004. You know, I think it was my fourth professional fight.
Yeah, man.
But social media wasn't around then.
No,
The
exactly.
exposure wasn't around then. You know,
But look what it led on to.
if it was then, now, you know, man. You know what I mean? Things could have been massively different for me. But I'm not knocking anything because I had the opportunities because of that. I still got the opportunities, but I think nowadays social media, the camera can give you and your own phone can give you, like us now just talking, can give people platforms which weren't there then. You know, like when I got in the UFC and I was fighting in the UFC, you know, there's a lot of people that don't know that I did that. And, you know, even in my own area and stuff, and people who come in my gym, some of them still don't know. You know, they just find a gym, they don't really research it, they don't really know what I've done or where I've been. There's guys who are like in the sport now, they don't really know where I've been and what I've done and who I've trained with and, you know, who I've fought, you know. I fought some of the greatest fighters in the world.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a list there, man.
There's a big list as well. Very big.
Yeah.
I mean, as in, you fought Bisping twice. Like, you fought him before the Ultimate Fighter, and then you fought him in the house as well, didn't you? Like, how was that, by the way? Like, did you two know it? Did you two know each other before going into the house at all? Seeing as you previously competed before.
We didn't know each other previously, no.
Okay.
Obviously, we met on Cage Warriors. You know, obviously Cage Warriors signed me. You know, down to Ian Dean. You know, he's a legend in his own right. He spotted me on the circuit, came and introduced himself to me, shook me hand, became my friend. Said he wanted me. Would I come and fight in Cage Warriors? Yeah, that's another story there, you know, as well. Again, you know, obviously I'd won the world title, and I can't remember whether it was after I was there cornering a friend of mine, Nathan Andrews. He was one of my first fighters out of Gladiator gym, and he fought on the same show as me, obviously, UK Mixed Martial Arts Fighting Championships. So it was Lee Johnston's show.
Yeah.
Which back then, like I say, was competed against Cage Rage. You'd got Cage Rage. You'd got that was just coming up. You'd got that then UK Mixed Martial Arts Fighting Championships, which, you know, was plastered all over in the Martial Arts Illustrated magazines and that. Do you know what I mean? They were like one of the ones that was out there as well.
Yeah, they were the top ones in the UK at the time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know, and obviously I got the opportunity to fight on there because I was a British Chinese kickboxing champion in that, you know, as well. You know, so, you know, I kind of like managed to get up the ranks a little bit quicker as well. I was, you know, I started off training with Carl Tanswell for a bit, and then I trained and switched with and started training with Braulio Steamer, and Victor Steamer, and there was me, and there was a few others there that was just training every day. You know, so I had a good pedigree of jiu-jitsu practitioners back then as well. You know, they were all hardcore Brazilians. They'd just come over from Brazil back in like 2000, you know. So I'd done a few years then of jiu-jitsu, you know, but I was having trouble out of my city to do that, like a good hour and a half to get a good training twice a week, which isn't a lot, mate. You know, a couple hours a week of ground weight jiu-jitsu isn't enough though, really, when you've got somebody like when I fought Bisping, he'd got Brazilians like Mario Sokoto. The Sokoto brothers, they'd been brought over from, obviously, Brazil, you know, and, you know, obviously Braulio, and then you got Sokotas. Do you know what I mean? So Sokoto were in the Wolf's Lair, and they'd been brought over to train, basically, Bisping in the Wolf's Lair to make him a UFC champion, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he had a good stable. I had a punch bag, mate. I had a punch bag and some guys that could stand up. I was teaching them how to grapple, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And just doing it a couple of days a week compared to doing it every day of the week can play a big toll, really. It does make an advantage, and that was where I think Michael had the advantage there, over me coming into that fight on Cage Warriors.
Yeah,
After, obviously I'd won the UK Mixed Martial Arts Fighting Championships world title. Ian approached me, said, would you come and fight for Cage Warriors? Cage Warriors was the biggest show in Europe then. Michael was obviously the Cage Warriors champion. He was down as the best European striker, cage fighter in Europe at the time. And obviously I'd seen him on a couple of shows previously that I'd fought on, fighting Cage Warriors. And, every fight I fought was an international fighter, from the day one. The first guy was a British guy. Second guy was... and then the third guy, he was the French guy. So it was a genuine world title. They brought him in from France. Francis Carmount.
Yeah, man. Well, you've got your resume is definitely something be worth looking at. Some of the people you've taken on, some, let's say, massive experiences there as well, and you've seen these people go on to be world champions as well, and tell you what, even in Cage Warriors, Bisping had his hands full. Do you know what I mean? And it just shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cage Warriors, like I say, I fought him, and then I went on fight Valentine over him after I won the world title. But a couple of guys told me, don't go for it yet. And I wish I'd listened to him, but then again, I don't, because it kind of like got me out there a bit more. I won the world title. I fought Valentine over him. He just beaten Randy Couture. I was a heavyweight then as well. I was weighing in at like 100 kilo. I was hitting the gym every day, as well, doing a lot of weights and stuff then. But realistically, I wasn't really naturally that size, and I realised that when I met Antonio Silva, Bigfoot. I'd won my world title. And then he took my title. He won my title after me. I went to Cage Warriors. I fought Valentine over him. Then I went to Cage Warriors, and then he won my title. Antonio Silva did, because he came to the Wolf's Lair again with the Sakutta brothers, because he trained under Mario Sakutta. He trained under them guys, and then I realised, some of these guys, these heavyweights are big. I've seen him, and I shook his hand and spoke to him at Cage Warriors, and I was like, I dropped down to light heavyweight then. I was fighting light heavies, and I met him, and I thought, So I kind of like started,
big lump.
Yeah, he was a big guy, I will admit it, and then I dropped down, and then I dropped down to light heavyweight from heavyweight, and then I fought a French guy, Jerome Lalonde from France. Then I went on fight, I think it was Thomas Valentine to middleweight. And then I fought another French guy. What's his name now? Trying to think off my head. Cool guy anyway. And then they offered me Bisping. I went on, and then they offered me Bisping for the world title, for the Cage Warriors world title. Yeah. So you can imagine, you're working up the ranks, you're notching through the shows. You've won one world title, you get offered another one. You fight one of your idols, Valentine over him, and you see yourself scratching away. You hear the names. He's fought Randy Couture. You're up there with the big boys. Then, you're not swimming with the little fish anymore in the pond. You're in the big ocean. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously, like I say, the world title, Cage Warriors world title fight came for me, and then UFC came knocking. Then the Ultimate Fighter, and then what an experience that was.
What was that like? I've never actually spoken to anyone who's been in the house before. What's
Yeah.
it like living in that environment with cameras on you every bloody second of the day?
I suppose a bit like human life now, really.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Yeah.
We're getting watched all the time now, aren't we? In a way, if you think about it, you go out more recently now. If you go out today, you feel like you're being watched.
The old Biller out there, I just saw him out the window. They're asking people what they're doing out.
Yeah, there you go. See, so if you go, for instance, somewhere you're not supposed to go, further than you're supposed to go, then you go, no, you're going to feel it. You're going to see the cameras. You're going to see the cars. You know what I mean? You're gonna feel it, man. You're getting watched, and that's what it's a bit like today, man.
I bet it is, man. I bet it's what it was like in there as well. And what is the piss?
And when you're not used to that, it's a very, very, very unusual feeling. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you get out of bed and there's a camera in your face. You don't really know this guy, but there's a camera there, and then you've got a camera on you around your neck. Like a microphone that's permanently on you. So, you go for shit, it's there. You go for piss, it's there. Whatever you do, you burp, it's there. You fart, it's there. You cuss someone, it's there. Do you know what I mean? Until you realise you can switch your microphone off and take it out. But then you get told off for that. You're not supposed to do that.
Reality TV, man. Joey, but you were fun. Was that the second series? Ultimate Fighter 2?
Season 3.
Season 3, wasn't it?
Yeah. But then, go, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, the number one was probably the one that made everyone watch UFC in the first place, with Griffin and Bonner, obviously at the end, and then sort of you're following on. How many Ultimate Fighters have been now? Like 20? I've lost count now. There's like 30 of them now, I think. But
I stopped watching after so long. I think I stopped watching after, I think it was about number 8, number 9 or something like that. I think and it just got too much, man. You know what I mean? Plus life gets too much for you as well. You have other things coming to your life, you know what I mean?
That's it, mate. You especially did. You ended up, starting up your own gym, starting up your own production, and everything like that. So when did you decide to start up Gladiator's gym? Like, when did that come along in life?
Gladiator's gym, this is what I'm saying, I didn't go out of my way to be a fighter. Just all kind of like the universe. More to think about it once, this is giving you time to think about you and what you're about and who you are. You can go in yourself and reflect. So when all this is over, you can make yourself a better person, can't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And come out of this stronger, hopefully.
So why did you decide to actually start? When did you start? When did Gladiator Gym open? When did you first start?
Gladiator Gym opened 2000. Started in my front room in a terraced house.
Nice.
I had a terraced house, and obviously, I was having guys coming. I was kickboxing. I was training kickboxing, Chinese kickboxing. At the gym I was training at, and one of the guys just said to me, "Listen, will you teach me And obviously I said, well, you'd have to come to my gym, and train there, it was where he was like, oh, I can't do that, you teach me, and obviously I'd got the odd bit of kit in my own house and stuff, and I said, okay then, and I started teaching and I used to teach in the park in the bandstand, just teaching kickboxing and stuff, and that was an hexagon shape.
Okay.
It was an octagon shape, should I say? It was a bandstand. So I used to use that as a ring, and we used to do kickboxing and stuff and pads and stuff in there. And then obviously I was at one of my friends after a Thai boxing session once, and he flipped out the UFC #1 DVD. Sorry, not DVD, VHS.
VHS.
That he just ordered out to the one of the martial arts magazines, and it had come UFC 1 from America, and he put it on, and we watched it, and I was just like, wow, this is insane. And we watched all of it. We sat there and watched it all after training, and didn't go home and get changed or nothing. We just sat there and watched this. And then then that was it. Then I just wanted to learn it, how to grapple and the submissions and stuff like that, and then just started learning. Like I said, Carl Tanswell was in one of the Martial Arts Illustrated, I think it was. And I found his number, got in touch with them, went to Manchester above Van Dang martial arts shop. It's run by Chinese people. It was dead. You walk down the alleyway from the train station, or if you drove there, you walk down the back alleyway, and there was just like this old Chinese shop. And above there, on the side, it was where they taught all Carly and stuff like that. So it was dead traditional martial arts. And I came from a traditional martial arts background as well. Do you know what I mean? That's what people need to realise. It's always been traditional. Martial arts, karate, kickboxing, it's all judo. It's come from tradition. You know what I mean? It's come from Japanese jiu-jitsu. Unless you're going to, get into knights and armour and swords and things like that. But, the jiu-jitsu side.
There is that. I've seen it on YouTube. There's blooming swords and shield, isn't they? They're fighting each other in cages. They're off their heads, those guys.
Yeah, and then so you just got... Go on, sorry.
No, go on, you go, mate.
Yeah. So I used to train in the bandstand and stuff, and then in my front room, and then I started getting some mats down. Got some mats down in the front room, and then got a speedball, and I got a freestanding bob as well. And then I just started teaching in my front room. I had my friends coming and just teaching them like one-to-ones. Then it got too many people coming in my house. Too many people were coming in my house. I won the British title and stuff, British championships, and I was having fights and winning them and that, and getting a bit of a name for myself. So I was getting more people wanting to get trained by me and stuff, and then it just escalated, mate. And then I just got a little worn out. It was an old pot bank, and it was just run down, derelict room, no windows in it, no door. It was just dusty, dirty, just run down. And the guy let me have it for about, I think it was about 30 quid, 50 quid a month, something like that. But he said, you just got to clean it out yourself, do it up yourself. Lionel Bailey's name was. Lorna Bailey. She's a famous pottery woman, she is. She's famous, made millions, she has. She's worldwide now. You Google her, she's there. He had me out. He gave me this little property down the back of the pot bank. He goes, you can have it. He goes 30. I think it was about 30, 50 quid a week, 50 quid a month, something like that. He was, and he goes, you can do it up yourself. You can have it. Give me that a month, But obviously I had to do it up myself, and I did it all up myself. Took me a few months, do it all up, did it all up. I got pictures somewhere and stuff. Did it all up. And that was me little pride and joy. And then obviously it escalated, and I had a big one with Gladiator #2. And then that was when I got in the UFC then. Obviously I was fighting in the cage and stuff before that, but that's when I got in the UFC and that. And then, Gladiator closed down for a little bit, but
okay.
I went to New Zealand and went, I had a bit of a breakdown a bit, and just I had to close it down. I wasn't really making much money and stuff, and somebody burnt me gym down, firebombed it, the big one. Jeez. And stuff. Yeah. That was when Night of Gladiators #1 was. Somebody firebombed me gym. I was in Wales with one of my fighters, Swansea, and I had a phone call off a woman saying, quick, you need to get down here, love. Your gym's on fire, there's flames everywhere. I'm like, I can't. I'm in Swansea, love. She goes, well, I phoned the fire brigade. Put the phone down on me. That was it. Got back up there the next day. Obviously, there was nothing I could do, Got back up there the next day, and all my weights area, my gym area was all black, and it hadn't done that much damage, really. It was more smoke damage, you know what I mean? Because obviously it was concrete and stuff, but they'd obviously smashed the window and sprayed some accelerant through the window, and then it had obviously, the smoke damage was enough then that I had to move. I had to get somewhere. But that gym was meant. It was like 100 meters long by probably like 7 meters wide. But it was meant.
Big.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was.
You could bloody hold an event. You could hold an event in there, man.
Oh yeah, it was one of the first biggest gyms in the country, mate. You know, it was huge, mate. You know,
nice.
there's pictures of it up on there on my Facebook page, like, you know. Yeah, it was legendary, mate. It was good, man.
Oh, sorry to hear that, but again, as you said, things obviously.
Yeah, things happen for a reason, mate, don't they? You know, yeah, you know, everything happens for a reason, man. You can't look into the negative and things, you know. Things happen because they're meant to happen, you know.
Muppets, mate, and I hope obviously whoever did it, you know what I mean, if they're listening now, like, I'm sure Ross has still got his eye open. But again, maybe you mismatched something on the first card. Someone wasn't too happy with the matchup.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, mate. Yeah, you never know, do you? No, I think because I recently, you don't know. I don't know. I think it was something to do with the landlord eventually, not the guy who gave it me. Eventually sold the building on to some Jewish guys in Manchester, and I'm not sure if it was because it was a listed building, it was worth more because you can't do nothing with it because it was in a quite poor state. It was worth more derelict.
Yeah.
So by burning it out, they could knock it down and rebuild it as canal side apartments because the location is a prime location as well. I don't know. It's all speculation, mate. You know, you could look at that like maybe somebody had a grudge against me and didn't like the fact that somebody lost. You know, and it was the first time there was ever an MMA show in Stoke. You never know, mate. You just never know, do you? You can look into things. It could have been one of the other guys on the units who didn't like me. Maybe they'd be jealous. Maybe they didn't like where I parked my car, or I didn't like where they parked their car, or something like that. You know what I mean? You just never know, do you? You just never know, mate.
I'll tell you, I think we blame Bisping. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, man, but at the end of the day, like, look, it was from the first show it happened, and I'm sure it wasn't anything to do with the show because you've successfully done 42, 43 more. You know what I mean? So it could be a lot worse. So when was the first GP UK? Well, first,
2002. Go on.
Why did you start it? Why did you want to start your own like MMA organisation as well?
Why did it start me? Well, simply because I obviously left school with no qualifications. Didn't go to school at all through the 4th and 5th year. So obviously, lacked qualifications. Didn't really have anything going on for myself, you know. Obviously, fell into fighting through. I was good with my hands, you know. Through fighting, you know, like it just
It's like, well, you're doing something, you know you're good at, you understand, and you know.
Yeah, well, I had an injury. Obviously, I got injured. I fought Mariusz the Zaromski's fight. After that, in that fight, I shattered my ankle, which I didn't know in the first round. Probably like in the first minute, I kicked his kneecap, and obviously with him being a southpaw, I was in my orthodox stance, and I kicked him off the back leg with a powerful kick with everything I'd got. And as I kicked him, I think I've obviously done something prior to this in the Ultimate Fighter, because if you watch the Ultimate Fighter as well, I had my ankle strapped in the fight against Bisping. I think it was the fight against Bisping, and I might have done it in the Kendall fight.
Yeah.
And not said anything about it because I would have been off the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they have you X-rayed and they have everything else happen to you, and then you wouldn't have been able to fight. And obviously to stay in the show, I didn't say anything. And if you have a look at, if you go back and watch the Ultimate Fighter against when I fight Bisping, I've got it strapped up. So I think I had something happen to it then prior. And I had let some bits and problems with it. But then in that fight, I kicked Zaromski's, and it fucked him, man. I kicked his kneecap. He checked it just by pivoting on his ball of his foot. And that was something I learned through that fight, how to check the inside leg kick and destroy somebody's ankle with a knee. With a knee. Serious, man. Honest. Some of the lessons I've learned that I teach today is from losing fights or being in fights and experiencing. Do you know what I mean? You know, somebody can try and teach you something, but until you actually go and do it and live it and feel it, you can't explain it or teach it correctly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, man.
That's what I feel anyway.
Yeah, I know exactly. You learn from your mistakes, sort of things. And
sorry, what were we talking about? I go off sometimes, waffling on.
I don't know. I was too intrigued in what you were saying, mate. To be fair, I was too busy listening to you. You know that, mate. Mate, it's interesting either way, man. But no, we were talking about why you started up GP UK, which you.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so I kicked him. Obviously, I was trying to get back in the UFC. Joe Silva let me out of my contract after I fought Rhys Clemente. So I still had one fight left. They said they still wanted me. Said you're everything that we want, but go and get some more experience. Come back to us. So obviously I went back. And I got back onto Cage Rage. I was fighting on Cage Rage. I think I fought Dean Bray. I fought Abdul Muhammad first, I think. I lost to Abdul. I was winning Abdul. Abdul was the Cage Rage champion. So if I'd beaten Abdul for the title, that would have got me up a notch straight away. Do you know what I mean? And that was a good fight. I was doing really well against one of the best. He was like one of the best wrestlers in the country then. Everybody was talking about him on the tally. Oh, he's, Afghani, and he's an amazing wrestler, which he was. And I held my own against him. I showed I could hold him up. He couldn't take me down. But then he caught me with a spinning back fist. And my guard was a little bit lazy. Because I hadn't really had anybody really step up to me and give it to me like that. Do you know what I mean? And he turned around and he caught me with a spinning back fist as I come through. And I dropped my guard a little bit. And as I dropped my guard, he cracked me. And he caught me flush with a spinning back fist. And then I think after that fight, I fought Dean Bray, which I won. And then I fought Zoromski. Zoromski was the one then who just fought. Ross Mason had fought Paul Daly for the title and lost to Daly by decision. Okay. And hold on, bear with me. Ross Mason had just fought Paul Daly for the title, lost to Daly on decision, by a couple of points. And then Daly just went off, and then Mason had a rematch against Zoromskis, and Zoromskis, I'm not sure if Zoromskis knocked him out at the very last point. And I can't remember whether that would have been for the title then against Daly. Yeah, but then Daly dodged Zoromskis because Zoromskis knocked out Daly. Zoromski's knocked out Ross the Boss Mason with a jumping flying knee. So then, obviously, I fought Ross the Boss Mason to get a shot against, then would be whoever fought against Zoromski's and Daly. Do you know what I mean? I'd get a shot against them, then this is what was going on with the communications. So, objective was beat Ross the Boss. Beat Dean Bray, then beat Mason, then get me title shot. Whoever won against Daly or Zoromski's, but that didn't happen because then Daly didn't fight. You know what I mean? So Daly retired. Then he just retired. So then he became vacant. The belt did then. Do you know what I mean? So then I went for fight Zoromski's, which would have given me a shot for the title then. But then I got a cut. I trained dead hard for that shot. You know what I mean? And I thought, I'm going to get back in the UFC now. I've got the belt then. Do you know what I mean? I can be number one in the country. I've got the belts. I worked hard enough coming out of the UFC to get back where I needed to get to. I fought who I needed to fight to show that I'm ready. And then I got cut. I lived in a tent for like about 3 months at like the summit of Everest. Altitude Centre sponsored me and everything. I trained like for the Abdul Muhammad fight. Since I came out of the UFC, I trained like I'd never trained before. You know, training with Chuck and that. You know, living with him and stuff. That just gave me a whole new perspective. You know, you know, and training with all them guys out there just changed me, and not just him. I trained with John McCarthy. You know, he taught me a lot as well. Training with him, just me and him at night in his gym and stuff, telling me about him, how he trained with Gracie and everything. And you know, these are little things, you know, and just little experiences that like are priceless experiences. You know, I lived in Hollywood, man. You know, and was training with Valencia, and I was training in Legends with Randy and, you know, Baz Rutten and
yeah, man, rooting too, man, legends, mate.
You know,
like Hall of Famers, you know.
Do you know what I'm saying, mate? And I was there for a while. And I training with Eddie when before Eddie went over to Legends. He was at the little boxing gym round the corner down below from Legends, and he was just like a small little gym, mate, like the size of a terraced house. Do you know what I mean?
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, though, man. Really, isn't it?
Them of the days. That's what I'm trying to say, man. Yeah. You know, I've been there, done it, mate, and wore the t-shirt, and there was no social media to tell everybody about it. Then,
yeah, man.
It was just you went and did it, and you knew about it. You know what I mean? You've got your photographs for show it, and your memories up here, and your martial arts lessons that you learned from these guys. You know, priceless little techniques. You know, training with them.
It's all about the memories, man. You're right. The memories more than anything. Like, you can look back on your career and people can say what they want, but you can say, well, I went to the Ultimate Fighter, I went to America, I went and did this, I've got my own gym, I've got my own organisation now, and that's what it's all about, mate. And fair play to you, and it's great that you came away from it so well with it all.
And did I think I was going to have my own organisation? Did I plan to have my own organisation today? You know, like I say, I fought Zoromski's, my ankle shattered. Mate, my ankle was like, it's still foot now, I'll show you in a minute. My ankle's like, I've had like 4 operations on this. Hold on. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the size of that?
Yeah, man.
Honest, mate, I've had 4 operations on it. I fought Zoromski's, and then I had a shot against Mason, a reshot, because obviously Zoromski's was going to fight Paul Daly for the title. Then Paul Daly ducked him, so he became vacant. So Che Mills fought him, because Che Mills was like in the loop as well then.
Yeah, man.
While I was there, he was just coming in the loop as well, and he wanted his shot. You know, so, and he'd fought his caliber of guys as well for get his shot. You know, obviously, you know, I'd fought the guys like Dean Bray had fought Bad Boy Bailey and beat him and everybody. I beat him, so I went on then to fight Zoromski's. But I sort of like beat Zoromski's on points in a sense. I was getting the better of the fight. If you go watch it and score it, do you know what I mean? You know, he was. You know, it took me a while to find me ready, but I got comfortable. He caught. You know, it was like a glancing blow. The material of the glove just like sliced me. Yeah. And then when I took him down, when I thought, oh, I've stood and struck with you enough now to prove that I can stand and strike with one of the best, because you've knocked out Mason. You know, Mason stood with Daly and lost by decision against him. You know, I'm getting where I need to get back to. You know, it's time to take you down now. So I think, you know, you punched me. I felt that one. It's time to take you down now. I think I'm cut. You know, he glanced at me. I took him down, and when I took him down, I headbutted the floor, and he just split me head open. But I didn't know that, and then I started mauling Zoromski in the face because I was going to drop back for a nice footlock like I did in the next fight against Mason. Because there's lots of techniques that I train that I like, that I'll set up. If one doesn't work, I'll go for another. So I've got like a cog of things that are always going around. Eventually, you're going to slip up and fall into it. Do you know what I mean? And then, anyway, I'm fucking. If you watch the fight, you can see I'm mauling his face. But as I'm mauling his face with my head, trying to distract him,
Opening up your cut.
I'm opening up the cut wider as well. And then all of a sudden, Grant Waterman taps me on my shoulder. I'm like, what? I don't want to stop. What are you tapping me for? I can see all the blood as I'm looking. I'm thinking, hopefully it's not mine, but what are you tapping me for? I'm not stopping. But then there's nothing I can do. He's come on, get up. I look up. I look in the camera as the camera comes over. I just see like white. You could just see me skull, like the actual cartilage and the whiteness. Yeah. I was like, couldn't believe it. Honest, man, my whole world fell apart, man. My whole world fell apart. Honest, I can't explain to you how much soul, heart, and effort, money doesn't come into it, but like passion, everything to that fight. I didn't even want rest in the minutes. I had the minutes rest after the first round. I didn't want rest, and I knew he was tired. I watched him go back to his corner. I look over you. What you see me in the video, you see me look over at him to see, because I know I'm not tired. I just want to go back out there, you know. And yeah, my whole world just fell apart. And when he tapped me on the shoulder and made me get up, and there was blood everywhere, and I knew it was me then. Like when the camera come right up into my face, and I just looked at it in the lens, and I could see his, and that was it then. And anyway, I went back to the dressing room, and my ankle was just like, it was the size of my thigh. It was just huge. And I must have sat there for about 4 hours waiting for the ambulance to come. In the back, freezing. My face was open. Like, honest, like you could have stuck your fist in my face. Like somebody hit me with an axe. And I was just in pain, mate, mentally, physically. Deep inside, my whole world had just gone. Just like, because I'd lost my title shot. It had gone. All that effort had gone. Because I thought, now, how long am I going to be out for with this? You know, my ankle's fucked. My head's fucked. My career's like basically, because that's all you think. You know, you work hard every night, every day, 6-7 days a week, eating right, sacrificing your friends, your family, you know, your health, everything, just to be the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And then just to have it taken away from you, just from a cut like that. And then you get just taken in an ambulance. Well, you get a taxi. That's what it was. I waited for a taxi. Taxi come. Taxi took me to the hospital. Got in it. I think it was a taxi. I don't think it was an ambulance. I think it was a taxi. And I honestly, mate, I waited hours for the taxi. Hours, mate. No UFC. No UFC. Straight in a taxi, gone. That kind of thing. I mean, like a private ambulance, that kind of stuff. I was waiting back in Wembley, freezing. You know, waited hours. Anyway, taxi come. And then I got to the London A&E, and then they were there. And I waited there hours, mate. It must have been like nearly the next day, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. It was getting later. The guy coming, man, he stitched me up. He stitched me 3 layers. I think they did about 20 layers in each layer, 20 stitches in each layer. So it was like nearly 70 stitches, if I remember rightly. So they did the first layer, then they did the second layer, then they did the third layer. And it like went from under my eyelid here, and then it goes round, and then it goes up, and it finishes about there. But I says, listen, man, I says, you need to do a good job. I says, be the best surgeon you've got in this hospital. I need. I said, because this is my career. I said, the last thing I need this is coming open when I start fighting again. And I've never had an issue with it. Never had an issue with it. You know, I had loads of fights after I got hit in Eastland training loads. And yeah, I just, you know, that surgeon did me a good job. And he could have looked a lot worse as well. Some days it does look really bad, but the part of the parcel is, you know, it says something. It's a story, something to tell somebody.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, man, you're right. You are right. And I'll tell you what, mate. I've been speaking to you for a while now, and I've definitely learned a lot more about you than I thought I did know already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's mad to know what you've been through, what you've got to, but it's just nice to see how well you're doing now, and with everything that's going on, all the memories in the background, mate. And mate, I just really appreciate you sharing that with everyone, because you know what I mean, not a lot of people like to. You know what I mean? Nice one for sharing that.
Nobody ever asked me, mate. Nobody ever asked me. I never really talk about it. Nobody ever comes to me and says, "Oh, tell me about this, man. Tell me about that." I got so many stories, mate. I could tell. Nobody ever comes and says to me, "Oh, tell me about this time. Tell me about that time." I got some mad stories, mate. I mean, crazy stories. But like going back to my ankle and the story about the promotion. After that fight, anyway, the doctor said to me, "You're gonna be here, mate, probably till like tomorrow afternoon. London's crazy." He goes, "It's like nearly 6 o'clock in the morning now." You can imagine it's been a long fucking weekend. I've been in London, like all weekend. I've fought one of the greatest guys in Europe. We both trained months for this. We've had a mad war. You know what I mean? Yeah. The last thing I want to do is spend the rest of the day in the hospital. I says, "Listen, I'll get you seen when I get back to Stoke. Just stitch me face, and I'll go back to my hotel room, and I'll just get a few hours. We'll get on the train tomorrow, and I'll just go home and I'll lick my wounds the next day." So that's what I did. Managed to stumble back home on the train and stuff. Get back to Stoke. Silly me, just rested up. The gladiator I am. Oh, I can mend myself. I'll get an ice bucket. I can be back fighting again within 3 months, back on the show. I can get back at it. I can get back to where I need to be in the UFC. I'm hungry for this. This is everything I've strived for all my life from day one. This is the point now, because everything that you do from life at birth sculpts you to the point of this point. It makes you are. So at that point, I was becoming the gladiator from day one. From the day I was, kicked out of my mum's womb. I've been fighting in infant school, in primary school, just, you know what I mean? I lived in pubs all my life as well, because my mum, my dad used to be a publican. So I moved around a lot, different towns, different cities. Do you know what I mean? Different pubs, making new friends all the time. So you make one group of friends, then you got to go prove yourself again and make a new group of friends. Do you know what I mean? And anyway, back to the promotion. I'm rabbiting on.
No, you're right. You've got. That's right.
I got the ice bucket out anyway. Started elevating my foot, tending it to myself. The swelling goes down. Keep putting it in the mop bucket every day. Keep it elevated. Taking me ibuprofen. Resting it up like you would do. Because over the years of having broken toes and twisting ankles through fighting, and kicking people, you just kind of like get used to doing things yourself. So I just come home and rested myself up, and then got back to training. Got back to training a few weeks after the swelling went down. Started running off on it, because I thought, the sooner I get back to, the sooner I can get back to getting back where I need to be. Started training, started running. It was aggravating me, my ankle was and stuff, but I still got through it. Thought, come on, you're a gladiator, you can get through this. This is part of the parcel. It's a bit of pain, mate. What you about? You got a little voice in your head when you're running. You got one that's saying, "Oh, it's hurting." Yeah. You got another one saying, "Fuck you, come on, cunt." You know what I mean? We got this. Move forward, keep moving forward. And then, obviously that was stupid of me for listening to the gladiator's strong voice that was on my shoulder, because I carried on. I trained. I fought Zoromski's. Sorry, I trained for the Ross Mason fight, which and then I beat Ross Mason. I had hell training through that fighting camp because of my ankle, but I managed to get through it. I took him down. That was why I took him down as well, because my ankle didn't really want to get into a long fight. Do you know what I mean? I'd already had a fight with Mason, with Zoromski, who'd beat Mason by striking. So I thought, I don't need to, go in there and prove myself again. I'm going to go in there and finish it quick. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. I went in there. I didn't really want to have a war because of my ankle. I thought if I go in there, I finish it quick, get the job done and go home. Do you know what I mean? You don't need proof to anybody that you can have a slugfest. Did that and then trained for the Chain Mills fight then, because then I got the title shot because Zaromski's fought Chain Mills at the NEC then. I fought Ross Mason, Ross Mason, beat Mason, so I got my title shot. Whoever won Mason and Chain Mills, because Paul Daly had obviously dodged Zaromski's fight, so Che fought Zaromski's for the title. So whoever won them, I would get my shot. Beat Mason, I got my shot. Freakily enough, Zaromski gets a cut on his eyelid. Weird, man. Yeah, Che Mills gets the belt. Sorry, hold on. Oh, what's going on here? Sorry. You there, mate?
No, your camera's turned off.
Yeah, so freakily enough, he gets a cut.
Now I can see your front. Now I can see your back garden.
Hold on, mate. I don't know what's going on here. What's happening here?
Just flip it around.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so
we got 2 minutes, man. By the way, just give your heads up.
Okay, yeah, he gets cut anyway. Che Mills fight. He gets cut. He gets the title. Then I go for Che Mills. Then Elite XC credit crunch it, don't it? Elite XC go bust. I'm due to fight Che Mills. The first time, he dodges me. I'm still training with a bad ankle while all this is going on. First time he dodges me. I see him at the Ultimate Fighter auditions with the belt. I'm thinking that's why you dodge me, man. And then anyway, we reschedule to fight, and then Elite XC goes bump because of the credit crunch. Cage Rage goes bump, lose my contract, ends up going to the hospital. Hospital tell me that X-ray my ankle, MRI scan. I've got loads of bits of bone shattered in my ankle. All it's done is acted as a cheese grater, grated all my ankle cartilage up in between my ankle and my fibula. That's destroyed now. I've got nothing in there because of training for them few camps through the pain and that. I've just got like bone on bone. So anyway, during that rehabilitation period and not fighting, I haven't got no other qualification. I've got no other job because my gym and my fighting is my life. Do you know what I mean? So then I realised, damn, I haven't got anything now. I need to get a career. So that's when I started doing the promotion because I needed to do something else that would keep me in the sport and that. Do you know what I mean?
And here we are 42 shows later.
And here we are 42 shows later. I did it just for like, tide me over, just for like, stay in the sport kind of thing, stay active. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't want just like not be fighting because the doctors told me I'd never train again. They told me my ankle was done. You're not going to be running, mate. You're not going to be doing anything. I do everything, mate. Like I say, I've started, getting that feeling like I want to fight again. So if you're listening, Dana, Pleasure Island, I'm there, mate.
I'd love to see that, man. Let's do another comeback show and bring back.
I've been training a long time now. I got skills, man.
Drop him a message, man. I'd love to see that, man. And hopefully next time I speak,
I already say no.
I know, but next time I speak to you, I'd love to see that, mate. I'd love to hear you say, "Oh, by the way, yeah, I'm going to go fight for Dana White in a deserted island somewhere." And check out his Facebook or Instagram because there's an interesting picture he put up. And before I let you go, Ross, mate, first of all, appreciate you coming on, man. It's great to hear your story and all the background and everything that led you to where you are now and all the adversities you've come across. And before I let you go, just let everyone know where they can follow your stuff, mate, where they can see GP UK, where they can see you on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, mate.
Yeah, you got www.gladiatorpromotions.co.uk. That's for obviously things what I do. The Night of the Gladiators. Obviously my cage hire, because obviously I support a lot of mixed martial arts shows up and down the country with use of my 24-foot hire cage. I obviously do all lighting and stuff like that as well, sound systems and things. So I'm still in the mix of mixed martial arts, you see, even though I'm not actually actively fighting, because somebody showed me the money. That's all I'd wait for, mate. Somebody showed me the money. I'm there, mate. I just need the right fight and the right money, something that's going to get me off my arse and get me motivated, because I've been training. My skill set's totally different than what it was, Mate,
I want to see it. We'll get you one of these. We'll get you back on.
And like I said, I think a lot of, what's going on now is made me go myself and think about what's going on, and Tyson Fury's another one as well who made me think as well about my situation. I was starting to get fat, and you know what I mean. It's just it's a mental thing. You can lose fights through mentally not being there, not your skill set, your mental state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, because it's what you got to do.
My mental state's not been there a lot, mate. I think having a break away is giving me that chance to sort that out. You know what I mean? Like, how many fighters lose and keep coming back?
It's good, mate. It just shows the sort of fight you are, mate, and the mentality
you have. You know what I mean? You've got to keep going. You've got to keep sculpting. You've got to keep moving forward, haven't you? And that's how you learn, and that's how you get better. And, sometimes... some people don't come back from that. Some people never go and fight again. They lose once and that's it. They don't see them again.
And I really encourage people who do listen to this. Like, a lot of people will listen, so just to take in what you're saying and be inspired. Just to say, like, just keep coming back, learn from your mistakes.
It isn't about it's not about winning all the time. Obviously, of course it is about winning. That's something else. Yeah, there is no first and second. There's only first place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but you gotta want it at the time and place, and I've wanted it before. That's how I won a world title. That's what I'm trying to say. That title that's there before I had losses wasn't Mickey Mouse. It's real. Do you know what I mean? So, but the social media wasn't there to give you that. I'm a lot more experienced. I've got 20 odd plus years now of martial arts experience from when I won that world title. Wrestling experience, catch wrestling experience, submission wrestling experience, Brazilian jiu-jitsu experience. Do you know what I mean? Judo. There's lots of different experience that I've had and just input. So I feel that, like, imagine if that opportunity came to me now. That's how I feel.
I'd love to see it,
mate. I would
love to see it, man. I'm sure and you deserve it as well, man. All the training we're doing and doing your online lessons, teaching people. But, mate, as I said, we need to definitely meet up soon and keep on talking because I want to hear.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah.
It's just a shame.
I'd like to do this again. Yeah, it was good.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame I don't have enough time now to keep going.
Yeah, it's all right, mate. We've been going. How long have we been going? We said it was going to be half an hour.
Yeah, about just over an hour, man. It's been good.
There you go, mate.
That's always a good sign. That's always a good sign. Yeah. In conversation, mate.
You just have to get. Sometimes I get carried away. I have to tell my students, coach, get on with what we're supposed to be doing, or tell me shut up. Because sometimes I babble on, especially I've had my coffee.
No, I was quite happily listening, which I'm sure everyone else will be the same as well. I was happily sitting here listening to it all, mate. I find it amazing. And I don't
if you've got more questions and stuff, mate, and you want to ask me anything, then I'd love to do it again, mate.
100% we'll have you back on, mate. And hopefully when we have...
It's not like we're going anywhere. Have you got anything to do? Do you know what I
mean? Exactly. Let's catch up soon, mate. 100% sure. Yeah. And make sure... Just tell everyone your social networking as well.
Ross the Gladiator Pointon on Facebook. And then I have Instagram. We've got the GP UK page, Gladiator Gym page. But I've got so many social media pages, mate. I've got my Twitter as well, Ross Pointon, GP UK, G5 Gear, because obviously I've got my own fight brand as well. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been busy, man. I've got lots of things I can talk about and tell you about what I've been doing in the martial arts world and stuff like, just mainly the gladiatorpromotions.co.uk and the Ross the Gladiator Pointon on Facebook.
That's it, mate. And everyone, make sure you follow him up. He's a veteran of the UK MMA world. Go back and see what he's done. Go watch Ultimate Fighter Series 3. That's where I first.
Yeah, like I say, came too soon for me, man. If it came now, then if you're listening,
tag him up. We'll tag him. We'll tag him in the video. But,
yeah.
I tell you what, I will say is have a
desperate
good
times,
Easter, mate.
man. You know what I mean?
Desperate. It is, mate.
Because that's what I'm saying. What's going to happen now if he stays like this? Now, I was thinking, you know, I could do a show at my gym. In my gym, just a few Georgies, just the arena. You know what I mean? A few cameras. It could be underground.
Let's do it.
And then we do like a live stream. I've got all the kit and that. The room's there. We just need the fight card then. The guys have just got to be willing.
There's plenty of people out.
You call it the underground. Keep the underground. Just call it the underground.
That's it, mate. And there's plenty of guys there dying to get back in the cage, phone to a lockdown, but
you have to have a secret code to get to the underground.
That's, mate, I love it.
Let's do like Fight Club.
Fight Club, that's it. Let's do it. I think we're going to do it. We'll take everyone's temperature at the door and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, man, you have a great Easter today, mate.
Right, mate.
Sitting indoors like
Thanks
we all are.
Time,
you know
man.
Yeah, you
right,
too,
mate.
brother. And we'll catch you, mate.
Have a good day, mate.
Cheers,
care, man.